see this show for like forever. Oh, these ones. That's good. It is pretty good. Yeah. Is your bum too big for the seat?
Kinda, yeah.
Huh. I'm finding the statue over there quite cool with the lions. So we watched chess. And what did you think?
I really liked it, but I've not got anything proper to compare it to because I've not seen a professional musical. So
it was Daniel's first professional musical. I've obviously seen loads of shows and I loved it. It was so good. Obviously, chess hasn't been revived in London since, well, ever.
86, wasn't it?
Yeah, as in this is the first proper revival that there's been.
Yeah, because they had the concert.
32 years ago it first came out in London and it flopped, for anybody who doesn't know the history of it.
I thought it did well in London, but it just didn't do well in America.
No, that didn't do well overall, really. It didn't run for very long, didn't do well, so understandably they haven't revived it. Here is our programme. Until now, exactly. It was a semi-staged production. Show lends itself to that. It's quite operatic in it's got very little dialogue. It's pretty much sung through, like Les Mis, or something like that. I thought the staging was really good.
Yeah, it was
yeah,
simplistic but complicated when it needed. Like it brought complicated stuff out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Very well done.
Yeah.
And the major feature was the 2 screens, which I thought.
Yeah, so the projections were really advanced. If you can hear random noises, it's the cat. The major features were those 2 screens, and they actually had cameramen filming live, and it got projected onto that screen.
Yeah.
So it was kind of projected up in real time. This helped the people who were sitting further back or further up in the theatre see what's going on. So there was not really a bad seat in that theatre,
no.
I have to say, because thanks to those screens.
Most of
but
them
it was also just really cleverly done, like it just added to the whole setting and everything. I didn't really feel like needed to be more staged than that. I don't know what you would have done to make it more staged than that.
No.
It didn't feel like a concert. You can see the orchestra at the back.
Yeah, the higher up.
Like higher up, like right at the top. But it didn't feel like a concert really.
No.
And yeah, they'd really cleverly done all the projections and things like that. So I think that just negated the need for scenery a lot of the time. There was very, very little scenery, and what scenery there was, it was used over and over again. So there were tables and chairs, but they were reused.
Yeah.
For different purposes. They had a singing chorus and a dancing chorus. The chorus itself was very, very big. They probably had about 60 chorus members. 65 chorus members. There was a lot of people in the chorus. And because it's semi-staged, obviously we didn't expect loads of dance numbers and loads of you know
but they
action.
Did,
but there
3
was
or 4?
There was quite a few dance numbers, and they were very, very well done. And he particularly enjoyed those.
Yeah, the introduction of like the USSR and US diplomats. That one was good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, very playing to stereotypes.
Yeah, but that's
very much. But yeah. it was very, very good.
I enjoyed that one.
Yeah. So yeah, Daniel went into this completely cold. He hadn't heard any of the music before.
Or like, well, I would have heard some of it because I think you played some of it in the car, for example. But
not.
I wouldn't have known what it was about. No, you wouldn't
have known. No, that's fine. Whereas
I only knew roughly the plot of it.
yeah, I knew the show very well. So yeah, in the programme here, they've got in true opera style. They have a
plot synopsis.
Plot synopsis, and it literally tells you what happens. I know some musicals do it, but this is very, very detailed, and it really needs to be because the show is a bit complicated. And people who know the show obviously would know that there are a few different versions of the show, depending on where it was shown, because Americans weren't too keen on some of the endings that were proposed. Some of the plot twists. This was from right at the end of the Cold War. It's set during the Cold War. It's all about the Cold War, about America playing Russia or USSR in chess, and so it came out towards the end of the Cold War, and I think that would have been one of the reasons why it flopped, because then the Berlin Wall came down and people want to kind of forget about it. Shall we talk about the people who are in it?
Yeah, we can go through the cast. This doesn't really mean all that much to me, admittedly.
Yeah, well, so obviously Michael Ball was playing Anatoly, who is the Russian chess player. It kind of centers round him. Then you've got Freddie Trumper, was played by Tim Hauer.
Freddie Trumper.
Yes.
Trumper. I thought it was a bit on the nose, but apparently that was his original name in.
I think it was.
Yeah, it was. I looked it up afterwards, but I was just like, really.
And Florence Vassy was Cassidy Jansen. They were kind of like three main characters, I would say.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, and then you got Svetlana, who's Anatoly's wife, was Alexandra Burke, who is known from X Factor. And then you had Cedric Neal as the Arbiter and Philip Brown as Molokov. I'm going to put all of these in the description because no one's going to remember these. So basically we've got the Russian chess player's wife, then we've got the American chess player and his second. So those are people with different kind of relationships to different things, and you've got kind of two things. You've got the chess plot and then you've got the personal relationships plot, and they all link together, but there's kind of two separate things going on, and I think that's probably what makes it so complicated.
Normally most musicals have got like a sort of simple plot.
Yeah, and I think
it's a singular one, whereas this one's got a fairly tricky political situation, and then on top of that it's got a sort of weird love triangle going on. I can see why that might fall flat on when it originally showed. But
yeah, I don't know much about the original production, but in this one they had really linked it back to the historical events when they were playing chess, and I think that was one of the criticisms that was kind of given to this particular production, was that they were showing these two guys playing chess in real time, but they had projections going on, they had video clips from
various
relevant events, so the space race and all.
It showed like Russia being ahead at the start of the space race, doing the first man into space and all that, and then later on you see, like, you don't hear it because there's music going on, but you hear you see JFK doing his we do these things because they're hard speech and all that, and you get all this kind of stuff, and then later on when they play again you see like the Vietnam War and the Afghanistan War and stuff like that, so while they're playing there's this sort of backdrop while they're playing
on the previous mentioned screens.
Yes, so you're not supposed to be physically watching these two people playing chess. You're supposed to be listening to the music and watching this sort of
and you can just sit there and listen to the music, because there is music going through and it's like the orchestra's moving.
It's not like it's deadly silent or it's just a sort of simplistic song going on. It's like an actual orchestrated piece.
But I think if you don't understand the historical context of this production will not. You will probably enjoy it, but it won't make very much sense. Would you agree? Like, I'm now being a bit critical here, but I think if you have no idea what the Cold War was, or you have no idea what the situation between USSR and the USA was, it's very difficult to understand the plot of this show.
The Cold War was a complicated mess, and if you don't know enough about it, then
it would have made a lot of sense to people at the time. They would have known all of this stuff. But now looking back, obviously, if you are from different parts of the world, or younger generation, you might struggle to kind of
grasp the motives behind certain characters and stuff.
No, definitely. But Michael Ball was very, very good.
Yeah,
I thought he was very good.
He's doing a load of stuff, right?
Yes, Michael Ball was very famous, which Daniel didn't know. But if you know anything about musical theatre, you will know who Michael Ball was. If you don't, Google him. He's done everything. He's probably played every single major male character on stage. And Cassidy Jansen, who played Florence, was incredible. She was very good.
Was really good.
I've seen her in Beautiful, the Carole King musical before, and she was so good in that. So I expected her to be very, very good, and she was. The other male characters, you liked the Arbiter.
I liked his song.
And then Alexandra Burke wasn't great. I think she picked up towards the end, but she was definitely the weak link, and it was obviously star casting and whatnot.
I was going to say, when looking at who she's appearing next to, it's quite hard to not.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't know anything about musical theatre, Alexandra Burke is probably the only one you recognise on this cast list.
Yeah.
I don't even know who Tim Howard is. It's quite bad, really. I feel like I probably should know who he is, but I don't.
He was good.
He was good. He played the Freddie the American. And so overall, very good cast. The chorus was very, very good.
Yeah.
Orchestra was very, very good. Like nothing bad to say at all. Was dance numbers brilliant. Reviews then. Ratings.
Are we doing ours, or are we talking about how it's?
Well, I'll tell you, because Daniel went and then researched what other people had said about it, like actual.
Well, my review was I liked it.
But like the actual critics' reviews. You went to research.
I read one from, I think it was The Guardian was one of them, and then I sent you a link for another one. So The Guardian gave it like 2 out of 5, and was like, oh, it's very dated. It needs to get with the times. It's like, well, that's like saying Les Mis is dated. It's like when's Les Mis? It's like the 18th century or 19th century.
French Revolution, yeah.
Yeah, so between those two. So it's kind of like, well, no, because like you can't. There's not a Cold War going on.
People say a lot of the older shows, like Les Mis and Phantom, and because they've been using the same stuff on stage for since they started 30 years ago. Okay, I understand that people say, oh, this is dated, you need to up your game, and scenery's all really tired and whatnot, but that's not the case with it. With this one, because the actual production
and the stage was really good.
Yeah, exactly. Aesthetically was, so I didn't understand this whole it's out of date. Yes, the content is out of date because it's relevant to the time when it was written.
And and a lot of the reviews were like, oh, the music was really good, but the plot was left. One of the quotes is like left lots to be desired. Sure, that if you don't really understand the plot, it doesn't matter. You've got good music to listen to, and
you can read it from this program.
You can also read the plot. So, saying the music's great and in a musical, but the plot's terrible or whatever you want to call it. It's like going to a steakhouse and saying the steak was lovely, but the veg was not fresh. It's just like, you're not there for the veg, you're not there for the side, so I don't understand. So
but critics didn't review it very well.
Yeah, the 2 I looked at, I didn't look anymore. Yeah, but mostly.
But what would you give it?
What are we going at 5?
Yeah.
Well, I don't really have anything to compare it to, but I mean, I wasn't bored. I preferred the first act to the second. If it was just first act, I'd go with a 5. But overall, I'd say 4, 4.5.
4.5. I'm gonna go. It was very, very good.
Yeah.